Good morning, everyone. I'm in the hotel shuttle, and we are going to the Air Museum over in Teterboro, New Jersey. I just had a night stay at Hasbro Heights, and I have about an hour and a half. I'm going to run over here and see what the Air Museum has to offer. It's a Hall of Fame and a New Jersey recognition type Air Museum. Let's see if Gates Flying Circus and Clyde Pangborn's even mentioned in this museum. Till then, we'll see ya. I just walked into the museum, Hall of Fame museum here in Teterboro, New Jersey. I have about an hour before I have to show, and just came in, welcomed by two or three different gentlemen about the museum. First thing they did is showed me a nice 10-minute video on the history of New Jersey and the aviation impact that New Jerseyans and what New Jersey has to offer to the United States and to the world of aviation. It's a small museum, but man, there's quite a bit of stuff here and a lot of history. Last week I went over to the Armstrong Aerospace Museum in Wapakoneta, and that's where Neil Armstrong and John Glenn, and there's 25 Ohio astronauts. But in this museum here, Bud Aldrich is also from New Jersey, so it's kind of ironic that I go from one museum to the next, and both of those guys, Bud and Neil, were in the lunar module when they landed on the moon. So there's a lot of space influence in this museum, and I'm going to show you guys that. Let's see, let's take a look. Lindbergh here, and if you guys take a look there, that's a good book to read. Charles Lindbergh wrote it. It's called We. I have not finished the book, but I'm getting close to it, and you guys would enjoy it. There's also a lot of history about the Hindenburg. The Hindenburg actually, 1936, I believe, it actually caught fire and blew up here in New Jersey. And there's tons of photos you guys can see here. Look at this. And I'm sure you've all seen videos of this stuff, but this is a 1/44 scale, if you can imagine how big this thing is. So just multiply that 140 times, and we'll have something quite big. Here's a little scaled down model cars. This is cool. This is the first hovercraft. I'm not sure what kind of engine's in it, but it's a four-cylinder. Look at the controls in this thing. This is a Curtiss Wright 3350, produce up to 3,600 horsepower. This would be pretty good on my new standard. I'm not sure if it would be in the CG limits, but I can tell you what, we can put it on launch pad and go straight up. This is a Curtiss Wright 1820. This is the same engine that's on a B-17, Wright J5. This is what took Charles Lindbergh across the Atlantic. And as you can see, there's Charles Lindbergh. This is an engine I've never even heard before. It's called a Lawrence. 1916 Lawrence. It's a two-cylinder, 28 horsepower, single ignition. Only weighs 125 pounds. Well, you guys always wonder what a jet engine looks like. This is pretty cool. They have a cutout of a J-44 jet engine here. pretty small jet engine, and you can light it up here. Little simulators. It's pretty cool. They got the Spirit of St. Louis here. Looks like they have a whole Waco up and running. And here's another Spirit of St. Louis simulator. And here's a Dassault Falcon sponsored exhibit here. It's kind of cool. You can measure thrust. You got a little throttle here. At the Armstrong Aerospace Museum, I had a wall of astronauts. Those are all Ohioans. Well, they have a wall of New Jerseyans. These are all New Jersey natives that has actually went to space. Pretty cool. They're astronauts. And like I said earlier, this museum has a lot of space influence. And I just spoke to one gentleman. He's a really good model builder. But Jeff built, this is the International Space Station, a 1/44 scale. And here's a little example of the size of different aircraft that we've had. Here's a NASCAR, here's the Mercury capsule, and here is the space shuttle. Look how big the space shuttle is compared to the Mercury. This is the first electronic flight simulator ever built. They say this is mid 1930s airplane simulator. You can tell it's even riveted just like the real ones. I guess you have to, maybe a mechanic has to build this. But it looks like a good rivet job. Eastern Airlines. And here's where the instructor would sit. And the plotting table. And I guess here's all the emergencies that they can produce. Different things like that. Well, you guys know that I'm a Barnstormer and I'm really big into Gates Flying Circus. And you've probably heard me speak about it, but Gates had a base here in Teterboro, New Jersey. They actually have a lot of stuff here that is about the Gates Flying Circus. So here's a, looks like the side of one of their airplanes, some fabric of the Gates Flying Circus. There's also, here's one of their big posters. Diavolo was the wing walker for the Gates Flying Circus. And what happened, Ivan Gates had a whole bunch of wing walkers and they kept falling off the wing and getting killed. Well, the problem is he spent all this money marketing the person that's wing walking. So he ended up calling them Diavlos. Every single one then was a Diavolo, so it's the same name, and they were very famous. And that's just one part of one of the great things that Gates made for his marketing span. Gates had 11 airplanes based here, flew about 800,000 people in the 20s. Quite amazing. All right, I'm in the Hall of Fame portion. Lots of plaques, all these pilots that's in the New Jersey Hall of Fame. And what I really looked for was Barnstormers' names. So Ivan Gates, Clyde Pangborn, there's also Charles Slim West, who was the head mechanic for the Gates Flying Circus. You know, there's Lindbergh, Amelia Earhart, many other, hundreds of them actually here. But the really influential Barnstormers that were right here in Teterboro are hanging on this wall, and I've taken pictures of them, show you guys. But If you guys also, there's a person I never mentioned is William Rhodes. It's Bill Rhodes here. He was a teenager when the Gates Flying Circus was around here, so he remembers them. He wrote a book that's really good called Chewing Gum, Belling Wire, and Guts. Go read that book, and you can learn about what barnstorming is all about. And there's also another book called Upside Down Pangborn. All right, I'm running out of time here, so I'm gonna go outside. They have a couple, the wind's blowing, but this is Teterboro. They're trying to restore this. This is a Martin 202, I think is what they told me. And boy, they got some work to do here. Look at all the corrosion here, but this is even cooler. I don't want to walk around in it too much. I'm not sure how safe this is, but here's all the seats and everything. The second floor now, take a quick look at what's going on up here, and I believe this is the Teterboro Airport history, so it should be a lot of business jet stuff. And looky here, we get off and there's old wings and get different things like that. That's cool. Alright, I just realized I don't have enough time. I already called Signature to come and pick me up because I have to show. I'm on the second floor and it's equally as big, and I tell you, it's amazing stuff. Here's Gates Flying Circus, this first exhibit I've really seen with a model. But Gates, this is a J1 standard. Jim Hammond, you need to build and paint your airplane just like that. Here's Gates at Teterboro Airport. For all you corporate guys, this is Gates. This is 1927. This is old Rhinebeck's D25 new standard, and I have a new standard also. But look at this model, that's pretty cool. Hey, I just got back from the Air Museum, the Hall of Fame Museum here at Teterboro Airport. I'm in the pilot lounge upstairs at Signature South, and hope you guys like this video that I just took. And you know, other than that, hit the subscribe button, like button, leave some comments. And you notice I've been traveling around, going to different museums and things, so I'm going to continue that. I'm going to be barnstorming. I'm going to see you in a hayfield one of these days, very soon. Take care. See ya.